Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy Bengaluru. This is everyday news analysis session. In today, we'll be discussing some 4 to 5 important articles from UPSC prelims, mains as well as interview perspective. So the first article is from the Hindu editorial. It talks about transforming mentalities, that is redefining masculinity. Okay, redefining masculinity, very important topic. Okay, not maybe from the previous perspective but mains, and very important from especially the interview perspective, especially for female candidates it becomes very important. I'm not saying it is important for male candidates, but there can be questions directly about feminism, masculinity for female candidates. So here this article tries to discuss about changing the norm of masculinity, what constitutes masculine norms, okay, how you should change it. So here it aims to address violence against women requiring challenging traditional notions of masculinity, which is rooted in dominance, aggression and control. Okay, so normally the masculinity or the hyper masculinity is aimed or based on dominating the other gender, aggression towards the other gender and controlling the other gender or controlling other persons. Okay, so that is a mard. You should become a mard. You should become a mard. How you can become a mard? By showing your dominance, etc., etc. From the childhood onwards, this norm is inbuilt or ingrained in the males to children's, okay, or boys, that boys do not cry, boys should not cry. Okay, all these things inbuilt these masculine norms. These ingrained ideas harm not only women but also limit men's emotional expressions, trapping them in cycles of suppressed emotions and unhealthy relationships. Okay, so this masculinity, that is boys should not cry, okay, लड़के रोते नहीं, okay, गंडु मಕ್ಕಳು ಅಳಬಾರದು, all these notions they limit what is kind of or limit or suppress emotions of men. Okay, they suppress emotions of boys find that as a boy or as a man, as a men, we should not share our emotions among others because sharing emotions with others is not masculine. This limits emotions of individual men, and as a result more men more and more men are undergoing depression. Okay, there are more cases of suicides, there are more cases of deaths because of depression. All these can be traced back to the masculine norms. So this article's talks for shifting in focus, that is we should shift the focus, that is when we are talking about reducing the domestic violence or reducing the violence against women, we should think of men as allies. Okay, we should engage men as allies. There is a growing recognition of men's role in advancing gender equality. Initiatives like UNESCO's Transforming Mentalities aims to shift how men perceive and engage with gender norms, fostering positive supportive roles, redefining masculinity. Okay, redefining masculinity, that is if you want to bridge gender inequality, if you want to bring gender equality, for this only the efforts of one gender, that is women, okay, that is women, is not enough. Here the role of men is equally important. Okay, men should also be active participants in bringing women on the same foothold as men. For this there should be change in the mentalities, that is we should redefine masculinity norms. So this thing, UNESCO's Transforming Mentalities, you can mention this in your answers or essays somewhere else, or you can also talk about this in your interview if there is a discussion on feminist movements or discussion on gender discrimination. In this article also provides examples of effective interventions, that there have been several impactful programs that engage men and boys to challenge the gender biases. Some of them are Mardo Wali Baat. Mardo Wali Baat is a storytelling initiative by the YP Foundation which fosters conversations around positive masculinity. Okay, what is positive masculinity and what constitutes masculinity, and it tries to talk about negative masculinity, and it tries to imbibe positive masculinity among men and boys. And gems, what is gems? Gems is gender equality movements in school, which is a collaborative program that uses interactive classroom activities to help adolescents rethink toxic masculinity or hypermasculinity and adopt equitable attitudes. Okay, these schemes are very important, or these programs are very important. You can use this to substantiate your answers. Then Shehri K caution. Okay, Shehri K caution is an initiative encouraging men to reflect on their roles in household responsibilities. All these things are very important. You can make a note of this one. Okay, you can use this in your answers. And then the article also talks about role of public figures in changing the mentalities. That is, the public figures such as celebrities, politicians, important leaders, etc., have a significant influence in normalizing gender equitable behaviors. The editorial cites examples such as Indian cricketers advocating for parental leave to highlight importance of role models in breaking stereotypes. Okay, you need a role model, okay, to break stereotypes. Excuse me. What is stereotyping? Stereotyping is assigning a role to a particular gender, or assigning a role to a particular community, or assigning a role to a particular caste, etc. etc. In order to break those stereotypes, you need role models. You need certain public figures who take the first step. Okay, because these role models or public figures have large fan following, kind of worshipping fan followings in India, especially actors, cricketers, and politicians. If they bring a change among themselves, then the fan following is also going to follow their steps and bring the change among themselves. Okay, that has been seen where Indian cricketers such as Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma have championed or advocated for parental leaves. Okay, then there is a need to move towards gender equal future. How? That is, the path to equality requires reshaping cultural norms that perpetuate inequality. For this, men must reject privilege and embrace emotional vulnerability to foster healthier relationships and communities. This concludes by calling for collective action to celebrate those redefining masculinity and championing equality. Okay, so very important article and a very beautiful articles with important keywords. Okay, changing mentalities and मर्द वाली बातें, gems, etc., etc., very important in your essays or ethics or any other GS2 and GS3 subjects. Okay, so make a note of these things. Then, second article is again from the Hindu. It talks about resisting transparency and eroding public trust. Okay, so here it gives an example of last year's elections in Chandigarh mayor election, where a Chandigarh mayor was seen in CCTV manipulating the votes to help BJP secure victory. This incident has underlined the importance of you infusing transparency in electoral process to detect and prevent election fraud. Okay, we will see what this article is about. So the importance of transparency in election, that is, it stresses the need for openness to prevent fraud and build public trust in democracy. It talks about amendment to rule number 93 clause 2, that is restricting access to electoral records. That is, the central government recently amended rule 93 clause 2 of the conduct of election rules 1961, which limiting the public access to election related records. Okay, this is keeping the election related records away from the public eye. The amendment narrows the scope of public inspection to specific documents, effectively undermining the public's right to information about elections. Okay, this is against the fundamental right to information. Right to information under Article 21. Okay, so this rule which was amended, the rule number 93 clause was amended, which restricted certain records of elections from access to public. Okay, so this is against the public trust, because now elections are not election results or election records are not at the hands of public, but it is at the hands or at the deposits of government. Then, role of Election Commission of India. The Election Commission India's refusal to disclose key documents such as Form 17C raises concerns. This form records voter turnout and voter counts, offering critical insights into electoral integrity. Despite requests from the political parties and stakeholders, the Election Commission of India has resisted sharing these records, citing legal and logistical changes. Okay, this is a very significant issue, because even the constitutional body such as Election Commission of India, if it doesn't have records of voter turnout and voter counts, and if it is not allowing these records to be made public to the people, then it raises the questions on the integrity of elections itself. Okay, the reason may be very trivial, like legal and logistical changes, but it is the duty of Election Commission of India to ensure that the elections are free and fair and there are no questions raised on the integrity of elections. In order for that, the Election Commission of India should, in one or other way, provide the records of voter turnout and voter counts. So because of various issues like rule number 93 clause 2 and form 17 issues, there are doubts on electoral integrity. That is, discrepancies in voter turnout figures have fueled suspicions about the integrity of elections. For instance, in 2024 general elections, revisions of turnout percentages raised eyebrows. Similar anomalies were reported in assembly elections in Haryana and Maharashtra, prompting parties to seek clarity through Form 17C. Okay, so there have been discrepancies in the voter turnout percentages. So yeah, initially it was said something and later it was reversed to something else. So these revisions are obviously going to raise questions on the integrity of elections. So the government should make certain issues so that there are no chances of questioning the electoral integrity. This aspect has resulted in legal and public backlash. That is, the refusal to share electoral records has sparked legal challenges to public outcry. Critics argue that transparency is essential to safeguard voters' trust and ensure elections. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of electoral transparency, but the amendment to rule number 93 clause 2 contradicts this directive. Okay, so rule number 93 clause 2 and form 17C becomes important for you. Rule number 93 clause 2 is related to restricting certain documents or restricting certain records related to election from the public purview. Form 17C is a form which is about voter turnout and voter percentage, which is not made public by Election Commission of India. So in conclusion, the editor concludes that by urging the Election Commission of India and the government to prioritize transparency. How? By ensuring public access to election records is vital for upholding democratic principles and restoring faith in electoral process. Very important, okay, especially if you are attending interview, you can make use of these keynotes. Then third article, it is about Diego Garcia Island. It has been covered by various newspaper articles. Why it is in news? It is in news because Indian fishermen from Tamil Nadu were detained in Diego Garcia in the British Indian Ocean Territory for crossing maritime boundary. Okay, so this is the map of Indian Ocean. India is here, Sri Lanka, Maldives. In Chagos archipelago, there is Diego Garcia Island, which is actually under the control of British Union Territory. Okay, British Overseas Territory. So here it is Seychelles and Mauritius, and then this is the Madagascar, of African continent. Okay, so Diego Garcia Island is part of Chagos Archipelago, and Chagos Archipelago is considered as a British overseas ocean territory. So Diego Garcia Island is part of the British Indian Ocean Territory. It is situated in the British Indian Ocean and it is at the south of equator. It is located approximately 1796 km south of India and 4725 km east of Africa. It was originally inhabited by Chagosians or Heliosis, descendants of African Indian laborers brought by the French colonists. Okay, Chagosians or Elois are the descendants of Africans and Indian laborers brought by French colonists. Okay, French colonists, not the British colonists. It became British colony in 1814 following the Napoleonic Wars, where Napoleon lost and all the territories of French were taken by the Britishers. Political significance: it houses significant US military base established in 1966 under USA-UK agreement. It plays a critical role in global military operations, particularly in the Middle East and Asia Pacific. This is the reason why it is very important. Then it serves as a base for long range bombers, intelligence gathering operations and logistical support. Okay, it is very significant in controlling the Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean also. The sovereignty of Diego Garcia Island is disputed by Mauritius, which claims it as its territory. Then, in 2019, the International Court of Justice advised UK to return the Chagos Archipelago, including Diego Garcia Island, to Mauritius. The United Nations General Assembly has endorsed this ruling. So, in the very recent agreement, the United Kingdom has agreed to transfer the archipelago, that is Chagos Archipelago, back to Mauritius. So now Chagos Archipelago is under the control of Mauritius, you can say. Then fourth article, it is from the Press Information Bureau. It talks about State Public Service Commission. Why it is in news? It is in news because the Vice President addressed the inauguration ceremony of 25th National Conference of Chairpersons of State Public Service Commissions in Bengaluru. About State Public Service Commission, details is State Public Service Commissions are independent constitutional bodies established under Article 315 to 323 in Part 14 of the Constitution of India. Okay, very important. They are modeled on the Union Public Service Commission to recruit state level bureaucrats or state services and advise the state government to personal matters. Okay, at the center it is UPSC, at the state it is SPSC. For example, for Karnataka it is KPSC, which conducts exams and also does the recruiting for state services. It is proposed under the Government of India Act of 1919 and formally established under Government of India Act 1935 after the Lee Commission or Viscount-Lee Commission recommendations. These serve as the central recruiting agency for the state, distinct from the Department of Personnel and General Administration Department. Okay, here the recommendations made by SPSCs are only advisory in nature, and the government has discretion to either accept or reject them, subject to the accountability of legislatures. Meaning, any advices given by the SPSCs are put in front of the House only after the voting, then they are either accepted or rejected. So composition, it is composed of chairman and other members appointed by the governor of state. At least 50% of the members must have held a government post for at least 10 years. So there is no particular what you can say qualifications. Okay, only the qualification requirement is that at least 50% of the members must have government post in central or state for 10 years. It is the similar for UPSC, but it is at the state or central also. Okay, whereas here the chairman and the other members are appointed by the governor. In UPSC, chairman and the members are appointed by the President of India. Members hold office for 6 years or until they attain the age of 62, whichever is earlier, whereas in UPSC till the age of 65 years. The governor has discretionary powers over the composition, service conditions and temporary appointments of the acting chairpersons during the vacancies. Okay, so here governor, at the center it is president. Members can resign by addressing to the addressing the resignation to governor, UPSC to the president. Removal, this is very important. Resignation can be done to governor, but the removal process is initiated only by the president for the grounds like insolvency, paid employment, infirmity, or misbehavior following the Supreme Court inquiry. This is same to UPSC also. Okay, in case of misbehavior, there will be an inquiry by the Supreme Court. Based on the Supreme Court inquiry, it is going to recommend something to president, then it becomes binding on the president. Okay, so removal of SPSCs is done by removal of SPSC and UPSC is done only by the president, whereas appointment is different. President for UPSC, governor for SPSC. Powers and functions, recruitment and appointments, that is, it conducts exam for appointments of state civil services and posts. It also has advisory rules, that is providing guidance on recruitment methods, promotions, transfers and disciplinary matters. And he also has certain powers regarding judicial appointments, that is SPSC is consulted along with the state high court on rules for the appointments of state judiciary excluding district judges. Very important point. Okay, district judges are appointed based by the governor only, but for others the rules are made by the state high court and SPSC recommendations. Annual reporting, it submits a performance report to the governor who presents it to the state legislature with explanations for non-acceptance of advices. And there are disciplinary actions also, that is consulted by the governor in cases involving disciplinary measures for civil servants alongside state vigilance commission. And in security and independence, members can only be removed for constitutionally specified reasons. Okay, that is by president, so he has a tenure protection and he has a financial independence, that is expenses are charged on the consolidated fund of state requiring no legal legislative vote. Post tenure appointments, that is chairpersons can be appointed as a chairman or members of UPSC or another SPSC, but not to any other government roles. So even in the post appointment also there is a independence. Then members can be appointed as chairpersons of members of UPSC or another SPSC, but not another government roles. Okay, so in this way SPSC is provided with the security and independence so that it doesn't undermine the constitutional post of SPSC. Then next article is again from Press Information Bureau. It talks about Bharat Clean Tech Manufacturing Platform. Why it is in news? Because Union Minister of Commerce and Industry has unveiled Bharat Clean Tech Manufacturing Platform at the Bharat Climate Forum 2025 in New Delhi. What is Bharat Clean Tech Manufacturing Platform then? It is an initiative aimed at strengthening clean tech value chains in sectors such as solar, wind, hydrogen and battery storage. It aims to position India as the global leader in sustainability and clean tech manufacturing, creating a compelling business case for international investors. Key features include provides a platform for manufacturing scale-up and knowledge sharing, aims to make India a compelling business destination for clean tech investors, supports India's target for 500 gigawatt of clean energy capacity by 2030. Then about Bharat Climate Forum 2025. The forum was organized in Delhi as a platform for policymakers, industry leaders and stakeholders to discuss climate change action and clean energy solutions. The forum aims to align India's clean energy initiatives with the global climate goals, particularly under the UNFCCC and the Paris Agreement. And it is also in line with India's nationally determined contributions and Pachamitra goals. Then a key focus of the forum was the launch of Bharat Clean Tech Manufacturing Platform, which was designed to promote sustainable development and clean energy adoption in India. Discussions emphasized India's commitment in achieving 500 gigawatt of clean energy capacity by 2030 and highlighted the progress India has made in the meeting nationally determined contributions under Paris Climate Agreement. The forum also celebrated India's early achievement of its 2022 renewable energy targets, with renewable energy capacity reaching 200 gigawatt in 8 years ahead of schedule. The event focused on 3 S points or principles, that is speed, skill, and scale, as the cornerstones of India's renewable energy program, ensuring swift implementation, large scale adoption, and skill development. Okay, so important, but mainly important from police perspective. Next article, it is from PIB again. The National River Traffic and Navigation System is launched. Okay, so it is launched by Inland Waterways Authority of India, which is under the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, has introduced National River Traffic and Navigation System, which is a landmark initiative aimed at ensuring safe, efficient, and sustainable navigation along India's inland waterways. Very important. Inland Waterways Authority of India under Ministry of Water and Ports and Shipping has launched NRT NTS. So about NRT and NS, it aims to modernize and enhance safety, efficiency, and sustainability of inland water transport. It leverages real-time data and technology to optimize navigation on India's national waterways, supporting eco-friendly and cost-effective transport for goods and passengers. Key features include real-time monitoring using GPS and GIS for safe vessel navigation, centralized traffic control centers for efficient operations, digital platforms for route planning, cargo trafficking, cargo tracking, and alerts, integrated infrastructure to streamline operations and reduce delays, focus on sustainability and economic growth and capacity building in the inland water transport sector. Okay, course various aspects, mainly safety and security in inland waterways. Okay, recently there were many instances, unfortunate events where a boat was submerged in Godavari river, where more than 70 people died. So in order to avoid all kind of mishaps, this NRTS and NS has been launched. It is presently being deployed across India's national waterways, including National Waterway 1, that is on River Ganga, which is a key cargo route from India, Haldia to Varanasi, Haldia in Assam to Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh to Varanasi, and National Waterway 2, that is River Brahmaputra, major water transport corridor in northwest, and National Waterway 3 is West Coast Canal from Champakara Canal, Udyogama Mandal Canal, and National Waterway 4, that is Krishna and Godavari, and National Waterway 5, that is Mahanadi rivers and its tributaries. All these are supporting regional trade and tourism. So presently, what is the status of Indian waterways in India? Presently, India has a vast network of 14,500 kilometers of navigable waterways, including 111 declared waterways under the National Waterway Act of 2016. However, all these 111 national waterways has not been operationalized yet. Key highlights include increase in operational waterways, that is, the number of operational waterways has increased by 767% since 2014. Cargo traffic growth, that is, cargo traffic rose from 18 million tons in 2013 to 133 tons in 2034, achieving a compound annual growth rate of over 22%. So significant growth. And then in infrastructure investments in national waterway development increased by 233% since 2024, mainly supported by Jalmarg Vikas project focused on National Waterway 1, Arth Ganga, empowering local communities through economic activities along National Waterway 1. Schemes are important: Jalmarg Vikas project and Arth Ganga. Then the tourism has also seen a significant growth, that is, river cruise tourism expanded significantly with 25 cruise vessels operational in 2023-24, up from 3 in 2013. So almost a significant growth of 22 cruises. Challenges are, despite this, the share of Indian waterway tourism in India's overall transport mix remains relatively low compared to global standards. So there is a need to improve upon national waterways and operationalizing national waterways. So this ends our discussion for today. If you have any doubts regarding this topic or any articles, please write in the comment box. And if you want any other topics to be discussed, write in the comment box. We can discuss on the topic of the day discussion. If you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on the video, and also share with your friends. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.